selfie together?
Mm-hmm.
You want to do another selfie together?
Yeah. There's a lot actually.
Uh-huh.
没事没事。你们看陨石洞，好吧？有一个陨石洞，你知道吗？哎，等一下哈，帮我拍一张。太阳特别好。哎，那谁帮浩浩拍啊？啊？不是，你等一下帮浩浩拍2张嘛，因为我是不懂得拍的。我这边也好好看啊！好，等一下啊。你有没有发现他车你说好？那个浩浩跟自己妈妈一起拍啊。那你帮我拿着。你带着你宝贝一起哎哎，他带着我的帽子，穿着我的衣服，好好看啊！我发现他穿女装好漂亮。丢只手机过来，我看。
Aber die schnaufen aber auch, gell?
A picture in front of the mountain.
Can you get 2 of us?
Maybe.
Was? Nein, nachher.
Oh, wait, you get 2 of us.
Nachher.
Hello from Iceland. Hello. We're here at the ice cave. After about a 30-minute drive on the snowmobiles, which I flipped us over once and only once. So hopefully we'll live and make it back okay with Sarah driving the next leg.
It's not going to be good.
Not going to be good. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right.
All right, yeah, let's walk down that one. tell you a little bit about it, and you can. That's all right. That's a bit slippery. Further down. All right.
I'm just in Florida, so the snow thing is a newbie to me. No. Well, about 2 years ago.
There it's there.
No, it's certainly not. That's why I'm standing down here.
Where I am.
Sir, you want to step forward? No, go on.
Looks like snow, but it is a hole.
Ow.
Stephanie, come here.
What?
Come here and stand in front of me.
You stand up over here. Yeah, like right now, you should be able to stand up.
That's it, guys. Keep coming down into this part of the cave. We'll just get everybody down here briefly.
Oh, shit.
And then I'll have a chat, and then I'll leave you guys to take as many photos as you like. Careful there. I wouldn't go any further than there, because if you slip, you end up in a hole. Yeah, it looks like snow and ice, but there's a hole there. And I left my ice axe and rope up there. So it might take some time to get here. Come and stand up down there. Bit more space. Is that everybody? Anybody else coming downstairs? Sounds like a no. Alright guys, how are we doing? Are we enjoying the snowmobiling? Yeah, good. It's a bit bumpy out there today. We haven't had a lot of snow recently. In fact, we haven't had any snow recently for about 10 days. So the track's a little rough and the rocks are all peeking out. That's why we're being quite harsh on you guys. Sorry for that. But we're just trying to protect you and protect the snowmobiles and make sure we all get back in time. You saw there was one snowmobile left there. Yeah. That's a story to tell. Anyway, guys, so welcome to our ice cave. All right. Everything in here except for the stairs and the lights is completely natural. Okay. We discovered this one about 2 years ago. It was August 2017 that we found this little gem, and it has not really changed that much since we found it, which is good news for us. means it's nice and stable. But what it does mean is it's in a different type of glacial ice. It's in a type of glacial ice we might describe as dead. Sounds interesting. You might think, well, ice is already dead. It's never been alive. But the answer is that glaciers are alive, okay, at least in my imagination. They are constantly moving and changing, and they're very dynamic. But when a piece of ice becomes trapped in a set of mountains like we have here around us, that ice doesn't move anymore, okay? And that is why we call it dead ice. It's no longer moving. However, you only have to go 100 meters this way, and that ice is now what we call live ice again, because it is all moving down towards the mountains directly to the south of us. But this ice cave is really, really unique, because we actually have 4 different types of ice in this cave. The first and the most obvious is the snow that you guys are sitting on at the moment and standing on. All right, snow typically about 90% air and about 10% water. That's the composition. You then have obviously this frozen water, which is these beautiful columns. They are waterfalls in the early and the late season, and then through the colder temperatures, they slowly form a stalagmite and a stalactite, and then they join together to form these beautiful columns that we have. This one is only about 3 weeks old. It's just joined together, and maybe it might get as big as his dad over here. We'll see. And then we move into the actual glacier ice, okay? And the glacial ice, the most common type of ice we have on this glacier is this white ice, okay? This white ice is called fern. And in this glacier, Langekult, it's about 200 to 300 years old, somewhere in that region in this part of the cave. And its composition is normally around 50% water, 50% ice, or 40-60, somewhere kind of halfway. So it's that real sort of white ice that you see on most of the glaciers here in Iceland. Now, what we do have though is we have a beautiful vein of this dark ice that runs along the top of the cave here and back off. Okay, and actually if you're looking back up through the crack here, you can see the blue color. And that blue color is where the ice gets its name from. This is blue ice. This is the most dense form of glacial ice out there. Okay, this is about 90% water and only 10% air. This ice is the oldest ice on this glacier. This is around 500 to 600 years old. So it's actually quite a young glacier. And most of the glaciers in Iceland are fairly young. The oldest glacier here is about 1200 years old. So it's quite an interesting thing. But this blue ice, if anybody is a whiskey drinker, this is the ice you want to chip a bit off and take home for you, okay? This ice melts 4 or 5 times slower than an ice cube that you would pull out in your freezer. So it's quite interesting stuff. But this ice cave is only a cave in the wintertime. In the summertime, it's a flooded network of tubes. And the reason we have caves in glaciers is because during the summer months when they are melting and there's a lot of water flowing, the water runs primarily on the surface of the glacier in these rivers, but it encounters dips and divots and holes, and it starts to spin round and round like a whirlpool, and it drills a hole into the glacier. And so we actually have one of those holes just there, and in fact it's why we have these columns, and there's one behind you in the very back. These columns are where we have above them a hole, and that hole is called a moulin. It's from the French. And these moulins can be hundreds of meters deep. This one luckily is only about 8 meters deep, and you would fall into the cave. Still not all that pleasant. But you would fall into a flooded cave. Okay, the water in this cave is completely clear. It's amazing. This is actually an interesting scuba diving site in the summertime. And then down at the bottom here, the reason we don't want you guys going too far down is because this one is where we throw all of our dirty snow when it fills up. But 2, because this is where the exits are. So this is, if anybody wants to go for, you've seen the film Ice Age where they're sliding through the holes in the glacier? Yeah, this is the start of the slide here. Unfortunately, we don't know where the exit is, so we might not see you again. So avoid going down there for us, all right? But that is where the water drains out. And that water drains down into the bottom of the glacier where the glacier meets the landscape. Okay, and that water lubricates the underside of the glacier, and that's how the glacier continues to move forward. So it starts off as the ice cap about 3 or 4 kilometers away, and then it's slowly moving downhill from there using the water that comes out of this cave in the summer and many other networks and systems as part of the glacier to lubricate the underside of it and slide down. So yeah, that's a little bit about this ice cave, guys. If anybody else has any questions or anything like that, feel free to come and grab me. I'll be standing up at the stairs. But feel free to take as many photos as you like down here. And when you're ready, we'll make our way back up to the top to keep on riding those machines up there. So.